going on, guys? Welcome back to Everyday Struggle. I'm Nadeska here with star DJ Akademiks, and we got Wayno back with us. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good with y'all. Fist bumps all around. Okay.
Moisturized fist bumps. What's going on, guys? How was your weekend?
How was y'all weekend, man?
I ain't do much.
Star, what you doing the weekend, man? You smile from ear to ear. What's going on?
Yeah, I stayed with the hoes, man. Had a great time. Awesome life I live, man.
Oh, I went to Tory Lanez album release party. You know
did you?
Yeah, I met him for the first time.
Wait. Was this your first industry event of all time?
No, it wasn't industry. It was like fans that came there. It was a performance. It was a show. It was all fans.
So your second concert ever?
No, why y'all think it's like industry?
Because you never go out ever.
Shit. No, I didn't realize why Tory Lanez is like walking on fans like how Jesus walked on water. Like Tory Lanez is 30 pounds. Like real talk. Like Tory Lanez, he literally just walked in a bunch of chicks and I was like, this is like amazing.
All right.
But he's only 30.
Did you like hearing the album live though?
Nah, it was dope. I didn't stay too long, but it was dope.
All right, so we're gonna get to Tory at some point today, but let's start with Rick Ross. So he was rushed to the hospital in Miami on Thursday after reportedly suffering from a heart attack. There were reports from TMZ that he was on life support, but several members of MMG and even his daughter have come forward to say that he was not on life support. Either way, we just hope that he's doing well. But 50 Cent, of course, did take this opportunity to continue shitting on him. Now, look, even for 50 Cent, we know they've had beef for a long time. Is this inappropriate even for him, Star? I think you would say it's not inappropriate.
Sucker shit, man. Sucker shit. But before we get to the sucker shit, is Rick Ross okay? Because TMZ is on some bullshit. They had a little Tucci on life support about a year or two ago. Now, those are your people. Is Ricky Rose okay or not? Pardon me for laughing.
I would know. TMZ pays a lot for information. All I will say, though, is that there was this whole big discrepancy about is he on life support or not.
Right.
I looked up what they claimed he's hooked up to some machine that's helping him out.
Oh, shit.
Is that what people usually consider life support? Nah. But is it helping him live or helping his bodily functions go on? Yeah, so.
I would say that's life support.
I think they clickbaited it, though. So they put the life support, and of course his family is like, this is not life support, this is just some regular doctor shit. But apparently it's okay. We're hearing from Fat Trell, Gunplay, and others who said they have spoken to him, saying it's okay. So again, we're not too sure what the situation is. It might have been like some like heart attack, but my prayers goes out to Rick Ross and his family, and everybody around him.
Yeah, I hope he's okay as well. I mean, this came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, we just seen him, like he's been in the studio working on a new album. This came out of nowhere. I hope he's all right.
Yeah.
Well, he's eating different now, and he pardon me for laugh. I want to get to 50 sucker shit. You know, Rick Ross is eating better now. He lost a shitload of weight, and for those who know him, I had a liver transplant back in 2008. Once your body stops consuming a certain type of fatty acid and other things and grease and all that shit, and then you start drinking wheatgrass and eating salads, you can put the body into shock. Hey, pardon me, but I want to address 50 Cent, man. I have to stay consistent with my philosophy, and 50 and I think 50 and I are on the same page with this one. Pardon me, but you know, the best time to kick a man is when he's down, and Ricky Rose is down right now, so I can understand where 50's coming from.
Do you think it was tasteless? Yeah,
totally tasteless.
Yeah,
totally tasteless.
So 50. I'm not surprised by what 50 did. I mean, I kind of expected it.
Yeah.
Like, if you didn't expect that of 50, like, I think some people still are waiting for the point where 50 grows up. Where it's like,
Not gonna happen.
He lets it go, let bygones be bygones. He'll never let that go.
He's paying Rick Ross's baby's mama. He's not gonna let it go, or either he already paid it.
He's paying her.
It's personal.
$6 million. He's not letting that go.
I thought it was 7.
Well, bankruptcy got $1 million off of that. But yeah, he's not gonna let it go. So again, when you look at what 50's doing, you can't really look too deep into it.
Yeah,
not surprised.
If you had problems with 50 and you just got like ankle surgery or something, and he's seeing you and he still felt like it was static, he's gonna trip you. Like it's not gonna stop. Like I didn't expect to not see 50 say something. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, listen, it told me all I need to know about 50, and even though this is a deeper issue that this touches on, but I remember when he was doing an interview on Flex, and it was like announced that like Preem got like life in prison or something, and he had some cynical laugh, yo. He laughed for like a minute straight, and I was like, damn, this guy fit. No matter what, you could have just died. You could have just like got sent to prison for life.
You ever been to Southside Jamaica, Queens?
Actually, I was there. Was it this weekend?
Recently. So your first time was recently.
About second time.
Oh, okay, yeah. Most of those niggas out there, that's how they move and operate. Yeah.
That's how they move.
So he's a quintessential Southside grimy cutthroat nigga. Yeah.
Which I think has kind of helped him survive a little bit in the initial stage of his career, but also kind of help isolate him. Like, who really want to be associated in? And people gonna remember type shit like this. You get me? Like everybody who's cool with Ross or whatever. Even there's a little taste and tact you gotta approach certain things with. Like when you're doing this. Like, shit, I can imagine when Meek or other people around Ross, they gotta look at that like, yo, that's not cool. That's the same thing when Rick Ross was going through his case with the gardener who stole from him and was accused that.
So are you saying this is gonna affect him business-wise?
Yeah, of course. I gotta imagine. I got well, not business-wise like that, but if I'm someone who's cool with Ross and I see you doing that, I can't be around you like that.
Well, I'm sorry. Inside word is he's doing a deal with Def Jam, 50 Cent. Inside word.
I mean, 50's coming up on a 20-year career. This is not gonna affect him at all. He's established that this is what he does from the rip. He goes after everybody, women, children, whoever. Like, I mean, he's done that in music. He's done that in marketing. That's just who he is. I don't think that affects him at all. I mean, it's 50. It's 50 Cent. Like, this 50 Cent we talking about.
No, just in relationships, because I think one of 50's problems now, especially if we consider a music career there, he's in complete isolation.
Isolation, really?
Like, who's really running the work with 50?
Dog, he just did a whole
Paul Rosenberg
movie.
at Def Jam.
Right, but he just did the whole movie. What was the Den of Thieves? Like, he's still doing a lot of things. People are still
in music. In
music, I mean, he's been out of music. Like, 50 hasn't been solely in music for a long time.
But if he had those, we've seen people who've continued careers, but they leverage other people in relationships.
It's not the relationships. His music is not the same as it used to be. It's not.
Is Rick Ross okay? We're going left, and Rick Ross might be on fucking life support.
Yeah, look, we hope that he's okay. We know he had seizures a few years ago. Like, all jokes aside.
Somebody uploaded something to his Instagram account. I don't know if it's him, or it might be a scheduled post. It just said Florida boy with like a Rolex or something. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Much love to him. All right, so on a lighter note, the King of New York title, I think we all agree at some point 50 Cent had this title. Let's debate who has it now. So this debate started over the weekend after Tekashi claimed that he had the crown. Here's Don Q responding to him.
This is why New York never gonna look good. Cause niggas always want to be the main nigga on top and all this other shit. You see all the South niggas, these niggas stick together, they do shit together. They ain't competing about who the king is and all this stupid shit. None of that shit matter, man. Everybody putting in work, pay homage to niggas that's putting in work, and respect everybody that's doing their thing. Nigga bringing shit to the table and changing the game. If it wasn't for that, nigga, we wouldn't even be relevant to even be having this debate about the city if niggas wasn't putting in work in the first place. So just, niggas need to just respect it like that. None of you niggas can fuck with me anyway. I don't give a fuck, nigga. Get down, nigga.
All right, so that was Don Q. So guys, in 2018, does the King of New York title, 1, does it matter? And 2,
yes.
Who would actually hold the title in 2018?
Tekashi 6ix9ine, a.k.a. Bozo. He's that nigga right now. Everybody else get your fucking weight up. What's going on, Ak? Come on, man.
Yeah, I think this is like the new New York King of New York title. You get me? So I see a lot of people say, yo, 50 would have something to say. Listen, this is like the under 25, under 30.
Yeah.
Because the older guys, they moved on to other stuff. Like, nobody's considering Jay King of New York. Jay's doing all type of different things. But in the new rappers who put in the work in New York, honestly, there's a couple rappers that can make that claim. You got A Boogie. A Boogie sold a lot of records first week. He actually outsold Tekashi first week with his album last year. Tekashi just put up some numbers. Again, I think we're waiting for everybody to put out albums and actually really put up numbers, because sometimes like you'll have the rappers, they'll put out good body of work, but they don't match with the commercial.
But you have to include social media. You can't just say sales. And I'm giving Bozo the fucking credit. He's the one that's popping right now. Don Q, get your weight up, nigga.
Would you agree, Wayno?
I don't think the King of New York shit exists today. And the reason why I don't think it exists today is because that whole King of New York shit was established by the Source magazine in '95. It was a headline that they had as for Biggie, right? Now, when we talk about the King of New York shit, is Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas, right? If it's like the key to the city. It doesn't open anything, right? Nas never really wanted it. Jay took the claim of King of New York after Biggie died, right? But if we're going to say that the King of New York is a real thing, what's the criteria? I don't think that any of the artists, I think all the artists in New York is coming up, they doing their thing, they got good things going on, but none of them can sell out the Garden. None of them have an overall impact in the game.
Well, it's competition, though. I mean, they'll get to that point, but it's competition.
You think that any artist in New York right now can get to a point where they can sell out Madison Square Garden?
That's a great criteria.
There's only 5 artists in the game, period, that sells out Madison Square Garden.
No, but we're talking about the king of New York. It's not. We're not talking about the.
Hold on. No disrespect to New York, but New York ain't on a level like it was.
So how is there a king of New York?
Yeah, you're the king of New York if you're the hottest artist. I don't
If
care
you're
if it's
the hottest artist?
Even if it's in a weak era, I'm still the king if I'm the hottest nigga.
Nah.
So you're gonna tell me that the nigga who was winning MVPs or like the home run trophies or whatever, after everybody stopped taking steroids, he's not gonna brag about that? I'm competing with everybody around me. If I'm the most popping, not because I'm not like.
So the most popping, it makes you it.
Yes.
Just the most popping.
Yes, that's why you're the king.
So wait, that's why I said there's no criteria.
Yeah, you're right.
There's no criteria because Jay-Z, right, who really ran with the King of New York shit, at the time, he was the best artist, lyrically. Then he made songs that worked in the clubs, albums that play. Nobody has that, so what's the criteria? The King of New York shit does not exist.
The criteria is just most popping. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not even giving it to Tekashi, I'm giving it to Cardi B. Cardi B, Tekashi, and A Boogie, they're the top 3 hottest artists from New York right now.
I called Cardi B the King of New York on Twitter, and people jumped in my ass for it. But you wanna know why I said it? Because it doesn't mean shit. It's just a title that holds there's no merit.
No, well, you're looking at it as it was seen historically, right? Like they were looking at the King of New York with all these, as you said, criteria. In terms of, like niggas, most of these niggas in New York now, we were talking about New York, and we just talked about rappers who went to Hot 97 rapping off their phone. Lyrics ain't a big thing no more, bro.
I'm not talking about just the lyrics. I'm not just talking about lyrics. I'm talking about the overall impact on the game. Jay-Z had, Nas and Biggie had an overall impact on the game. 50 Cent dropped the mixtape.
Cardi B's having an impact on the game.
Wait a second. 50 Cent dropped the mixtape, King of New York, in like 03, right? That's when he was killing. Since then, if we're gonna say that this is an actual title, what is the criteria? Because that's what it was established off of, being the best and having music that transcended across everything.
I think the title exists. I think the criteria changes depends on what artist. If you talk about Don Q and Dave East, they gonna look at like who's the nicest out here. Who's the nicest really when it comes to rapping.
But what if you're just popular for 1 year? How does that get you a crown?
Well, shit, you got a crown for a year. Like niggas win MVP for a year.
But we're talking about a term that was created a long time ago, and you saying.
No, but
1 year.
But these kids don't give a fuck about like what it meant then.
What I'm saying is that for somebody to say King of New York, Jay ain't start popping that shit until he was 5 albums in. 50 did it with 1 or 2 albums, but at that time he already sold 20 million between 2 albums. So you mean to tell me that you could just be popping so anybody could be king?
We're also talking about the birthplace of hip hop.
Right.
And if you just want to dismiss the title King of New York, does it not matter that hip hop originated here and it's a global art form now? I think it's important for bragging rights, for boasting.
It's competition.
There's nothing wrong. We have competition.
And some people might want to hop in it. It's the same when T.I. did it. When T.I. said he the king of the South, it was competition.
But he could legitimize it for a multitude of things, not just because you have viral videos on Instagram.
Nah, but some of these dudes are putting up numbers though.
It started with Tekashi.
We're in a different era.
Right. It started with Tekashi.
Putting up numbers.
And I don't take anything he says serious. I think he just said it just so he could start a conversation to bring himself more attention. I don't think he cares about being a king of New York. Seriously.
No. This is where I disagree, and back to my point. I think when people look at that title now, there's so much different ways they look at it. Don Q and like Davies, I think they're looking at it on a lyrical aspect. When Tekashi says it, I think it's beyond the music. I think because of the movement behind it.
I agree.
I think he's on some shit like, there's none of y'all that's moving like I move in the streets and matching it with the music.
Okay,
none of y'all.
now,
I think that's what he's saying.
Right, now when you said...
But you still would not consider him to be King of New York. With everything you've just said.
Because I'm not a street nigga. So again, you could have the strongest street movement ever. I'm gonna always defer to the music.
But if you're just sitting back and you're just looking at social media as you do, and you're taking Instagram into account, Twitter, Snapchat, all these other things, you would still say Tekashi is not King of New York.
I'm gonna say Cardi B, because if Cardi B like wake up with a bad mood, everybody knows. Then I mean that's controlling the whole social media. Like her impact. Of course, she's not doing like too much like sometimes we see Tekashi doing, but if she wanted to get it lit like him, she could absolutely do it. She gets way more attention than him by doing way less. So it's clear to me, and by the way, I will say he dropped his album. She hasn't dropped her new album yet, but still, with what she's accomplished within the last couple of months, I'm giving her king.
So why would you not separate them and give her Queen of New York and give him King of New York? I mean, I'm not a fan of his, but I'm just looking objectively at what he's doing.
Okay, I could do that, but you know what I mean? I thought everybody was arguing that, listen, let's not compare women MCs or women rappers differently from men.
I think we should.
If we're doing that, she's the queen.
Okay.
She's a queen, and then he's a king.
All right, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, there's no criteria. It's nothing to legitimize this shit. Okay, Cardi B, she's done tremendously well. She's exceeded my expectations of her with 3 records. Tekashi got 1 mixtape, and he made 3 records. And that you could just be king?
Yo, it's not like
He's also got 3 songs that charted on Billboard.
Absolutely. But with that's just it. 3 songs and 1 project.
I mean,
you think
listen.
I mean, like, how long you think he gonna last?
But this is the thing, we're in the microwave era. Like, yo, put it like this. He said the same thing. I mean, Trippie Redd even said the same thing. All these artists, they're popping off and they're getting to like a super far point in their career with hella gold plaques or platinum plaques in the space of a couple of months. Like Jay and them, when you were talking about, they had to build up kind of. How other Reasonable Doubt do? And then the next project. So it took him a couple years to build up.
Right.
Now you get there like this. We can't penalize him, but here's the thing.
I'm not penalizing anybody.
Jay had the crown for a long time. He might lose the crown in 3 months from some other kid.
There's no crown. There's no crown.
Like, no,
there's no crown because guess what? Like I said, all right, so there's no tradition in this shit. Fuck it. So you don't have to have really. I listened to Tekashi's album, mixtape, whatever you want to call it. It's the same song from the start to the end, just different beats. The same, it's one long ass song. Shoot, cut, kill. Yeah. That's it. There's no real skill involved. I mean, his music gets you hype. My son was bumping that shit all weekend getting ready for
How old is your son?
He's 10.
Okay.
He's 10. Bumping that shit all weekend to get hype for his game.
What you mean no real skill involved?
It's no.
I think you judge skill as lyricism. Most of these new niggas ain't on no.
No, I'm not judging it strictly as lyricism, but if you it's only one thing. His shit is only this. It doesn't move. He doesn't have anything other than this. So that you can just be king with that.
Yeah. His shit reminds me of like Onyx coming back. So you tell me like them niggas from Onyx?
Onyx had a lot of different songs though.
Wow, you just took it back to Onyx?
He can't talk about Onyx. This nigga's 26 years old.
The sound and style.
The sound and style. But wait, when you mention Onyx, know their music. Don't just base it off of slam. Know their shit top to bottom.
So, but you just said he just has 1 mixtape out. You're categorizing his whole career. That he don't got.
I'm saying that it is. And you can't give him king yet just off of one thing. Give him some fucking time. Like you got to grow your respect.
There's always a king,
I understand that microwave shit and all of that, but guess what? 20 years from now, whether Tekashi is done in 5 years or 5 months, he wants to be remembered.
I can respect what you're saying by way of being a traditionalist, if I'm giving you the right label, traditionalist. But this younger generation, they don't give a fuck about shit back in the day.
But they're gonna grow up.
Exactly. They have to grow up and they have to be educated. You're 100% right. But right now, and I'm the hater, looking at Tekashi, AKA Bozo, and he's getting it in so fucking hard. I mean, I have to respect the wave. And he's sitting up there, he's connecting to people. Recently, he was talking about his weight gain. I mean, he was really humanizing himself, personalizing himself with the audience. And I'm looking at the comments, and a lot of people, they appreciated him being that personal.
To your point, Star, I think he's the hottest. I think he's the hottest. Like
I'm not his fan. I'm saying
I get you on that. I think he's the hottest, and what I mean by that is because he's the most visible. He has more visibility than anybody in New York right now. I think he's the hottest, but I'm not calling him the king.
So let's agree to disagree on this one. We'll debate forever.
Well, no, unfortunately, I think
Final
the hottest.
point, Ak.
Unfortunately, the hottest is just whoever got the crown at this time.
No, I don't know that those are necessarily the same thing. But
New York has changed so much. It's like devolved. Like there's no real like criteria no more. Like I feel like tradition has almost died. Designer was one of the in New York, one of the most popping when New York kind of got its new life.
Right.
Bobby Shmurda, designer. Bobby Shmurda, like sounded like he was from Southside Chicago, and then you had designer who sounded like Future's like twin.
I'm not talking about where they sound like they come from. I'm just talking about having a body of work that speaks to who you are. If you're gonna legitimize something, if you're gonna say some shit, you gotta be able to legitimize it by saying, yo, look at this shit. Not just one joint.
So you wouldn't consider anybody to be king?
There's no king in New York. And I think everybody has an opportunity, and no, you don't have to be Jay-Z, and there's never gonna be another Jay-Z, never gonna be another Nas or another Biggie. But if you're gonna state that claim, then you just need to put in the work so people can respect your shit overall. Nobody that was called King of New York had disrespect on their name.
If
All
I
right.
were, I mean, I'm saying Tekashi is the king, but my favorite, my personal favorite would be Young M.A. Will he be considered a he or she? I'm confused.
Young M.A. is a woman, bro.
I know, but that's my favorite.
Young M.A. is nice, though. Young M.A. will lyrically out-rap all these niggas.
He got a lot of work to do, too.
Yeah.
Got a lot of work to do.
All right, guys, so this weekend we finally got the Ric Flair drip video. Fans were excited for this, but it seems like Offset and Metro Boomin weren't so happy about it, so they took some shots at Epic Records on social media saying that they are conducting bad business. We don't have any further details here, but just to clarify, so 21 Savage is signed to Epic Records. We know that Offset, of course, is signed to Quality Control, so none of them are signed to Epic except 21. You guys have any theories on why they might be upset here?
I'm confused on this. I don't know why the shot at Epic Records. I'm lost, literally. So I mean, I'm not sure. But with regards to artists of today, I mean, I can't say that it's far-fetched for someone to just get up on the gram and say some crazy shit. And when you come at a label, you're going at a faceless monster. So I don't know what the actual shot is about.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to know. So it's really a collaborative album, and the one person that did not take a shot was 21 Savage. He wasn't up there like, yo, fuck my own label. The project was dropped on his label, and I could imagine that label is probably saying, hey, whatever we do with this project, we're going to probably align it to make sure it helps you out. Right. Whatever them other niggas doing, fuck them.
Right.
Well, Metro is on Republic, not Atlantic. He's on Republic. But what I took from this was they could have put, like, Metro has his own imprint. They probably could have put it out on his shit. They did it through Epic. Epic is going through a regime change with L.A. Reid leaving.
Epic probably gave him the bag.
Yeah, they probably gave him some bread, but at the same time, like, this project came out Halloween 2017. This is the first video we seeing, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know. It's the first video we're seeing in 5 months. It's 32 in the 200 on Billboard. It's like 50-something on iTunes. So it's people are engaging with it, but it just seems like it's nothing there. And it's the hottest producer and two of the hottest artists. They got a feature from Travis Scott, and it's just nothing there from it. So
I don't like to use the word trash, but the beat to me just sounds like a throwaway track. I wasn't feeling it. So maybe they're just bitter because they had different expectations.
Well, you mean the track or the whole project?
The track.
The track itself
Ric Flair.
has performed. It's gotten like good playlist
Right.
placement, etc. So that's been one of the most popular ones. So
Yeah, I mean, like the whole project, it just hasn't had anything
Big
with it.
push.
There's no assets, there's nothing with it, and you got three of the hottest people in the game. I think that may, and I'm just speculating, but I think that may be their problem.
And let me speculate a little further. Shit, these, again, we've talked about how many projects Offset has been involved in. He did like 4 projects in like 4 months. I could imagine the label probably thinking, all right, this is just another one of the joints y'all are doing. We're not putting like this huge fucking budget because as soon as we start investing on this, you guys are announcing, especially you're now on our label. You're gonna announce you're dropping something with another nigga on another label. So we're gonna do it how we wanna do it, and they're probably looking like, yo, you guys are dropping the ball. But the label might be like, yo, we're not funding all that shit for y'all to go do other shit with other people. If you were all on our label, right, we would make sure it suited everybody. But now we're only going to drop shit as according to how we want to roll out the next 21 Savage video or his songs is charting. If we flood that shit up, like, you know what I mean, of the charts and all that by pushing money behind it, 21 Savage got some other shit like it might not help out. Like we see those type of games even with Uzi and Cardi, Atlantic Uzi.
Right, but there's also a vested interest because 21 Savage is involved. I mean, you had What a Time to Be Alive with Drake and Future. Drake is on Republic, right? Future's on Epic, and there was a push there. I mean, they are like Drake is the biggest artist, right?
I don't think it got dropped on one or the other though. It looked like it was a
collaborative effort, but
this one was just on Epic though.
Right, but at the same time, you still got the access to have the access to an Offset and have the access to Metro Boomin. You still kind of want to do good business there because you want Metro producing for any other artist that you might have on your label.
Speaking of business, from a managerial standpoint, how hard is it to prevent artists and or producers from getting in their feelings
and popping shit
and going online and fucking up potential business?
Oh man, I mean, you know what the thing is that, at the end of the day, you can't stop anybody from getting on their phone, but you gotta have some sort of prevention and some sort of understanding like, yo, we can't just be doing shit like this because you never know, in the music game, you'll never know who you need. You'll never know who you need, and you don't want to sour a relationship. Now,
to go deeper, a lot of younger people today need to know that if and when you do that, you can breach the agreement.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, there's all sorts of clauses and stipulations. If you say something that puts the company in a negative light, that's a breach. Could be a breach.
Or beyond the breach of agreement, they might just be like, oh, he talking shit, fuck it. Like, I'm not going to support that. You know, that might be the case too, but I don't know what happened. You know, they might have been trying to have phone calls with Epic for a minute and not getting through. I don't know. I
do like the fact that Metro, him being the hot producer at the time, he doesn't wait till he's washed up to start complaining about the label. He complains now. He says, Atlantic, fuck them. They try to tell me some shit wasn't hot. Yeah. I told y'all about this guy a long time ago. And then now he got a story about Epic in him saying they're doing bad business. I like when you're at the top and you tell. I don't want to hear
his prime.
I don't want to hear the bitter girlfriend come out to be like, oh yeah, that nigga breath stink, his dick small. You can't listen to that.
But on Metro,
tell me why you hot.
What I like about Metro doing it too is because he's young and he's about his business. He had a commercial with the Gap. He don't need no label.
Word.
He had a commercial with the Gap and SZA dancing, and he probably did the beat, got all types of licensing for it. So I think he's just setting the standard for younger guys coming up watching him to say, yo, listen, don't take no shit from nobody. Because end of the day, the labels always need the new next hot guy. You don't always need the labels.
Right.
All right, guys, so we got new music from Tory Lanez. He finally dropped his album, Memories Don't Die. So during an interview with Hot New Hip Hop, he explained that he once had a Nicki Minaj feature on his track, Shooters, but due to problematic text message, he lost that feature. Here's what he had to say.
She was on Shooters originally. She was on the record first, and then I was telling her something about her verse. I wasn't saying it was bad or anything. Her verse was incredible. And I'm also a super Nicki fan. But I was telling her something about the verse, and I think maybe it may have came, because I was texting her, so it may have came off just in a different way. She probably read it differently than I said it.
Happens a lot with text like that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I've gotten to a lot of I've gotten to a lot of stupid shit over text, because text doesn't say it the way you say it in your head, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. People just read it how they read it, you know? So I think it maybe it kind of came off a little bit, I don't know, arrogant. Just kind of said something I shouldn't have said about her verse, and she was just like, well, nigga, it's just not that serious. Take my verse off the thing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm like, all right.
So he makes a good point, right? Sometimes things are misconstrued in text. People can't see you, they can't read the emotion. I guess he was not careful enough in critiquing a Nicki verse. Do you blame her for saying, take me off the song?
Hell no. I don't blame her, because Tory is an up-and-comer, and again, Nicki has the criteria. She has the resume. She can pop her shit, and then she probably looking like, oh, ew, you telling me what the, nah, dog, just take it.
Yeah, for you, so when you're managing an artist, a younger artist, and they get a big feature from someone like a Nicki, what advice would you give them? Just shut up and keep this verse, say nothing?
I wouldn't say shut up, but like he said, it's a certain way he probably said it. I think Tory probably was just feeling himself at the moment. Was because he's a music guy. Tory's a music guy, and he's very serious about how he records, how shit sounds. He takes a lot of time on it. So he probably heard it and probably suggested that she could say shit a little bit better. And Nicki was like, fuck out of here, I ain't not jacking that. Take me off that shit.
Man, it might turn out better for my man Tory, man. Listen, by the way, I like when he addresses shit in music, because he addresses a lot of shit. If you listen to his album, I didn't even know him and Travis was about to scrap. You know what I mean? He addressed a lot of stuff in the music. In the interview, I don't know if it was necessary for him to bring this up again and further go in details, but I'm not mad at him if he sent the track, and by the way, the track Shooters is fucking fire. You send that to Nicki, and if Nicki gave one of her little mail-in trash verses, Nicki, ma, if you could redo this over again, again, I don't know what it is.
Has Nicki been given mailed-in verses on her features, though?
Bruh, she's gave 2 that were dope. But I gotta trust the artist. It's my song. It's my project, right? And I'm gonna always reserve the right. I don't care. It could be Jay-Z. If you give me a verse which I don't think is up to par,
yo, he's all talk right now. You're so confident saying that sitting here.
Oh, it is. But he's not a person who a Nicki feature could make or break. Maybe if Drake was on some bullshit just singing yeah, fine. But Nicki, nah. And I know they're both big artists, but come on, yo. You have to be confident in your own project to say, Hey, now again, in hindsight, he probably said, "Y'all shouldn't have said it like that."
Right, he said that.
And I think that's the whole sentiment. But him giving a critique, we've heard people say they've been in the studio with Eminem, did some shit, and they're scared to death. Nah, man, you got to speak up, especially your project is going to have to live with what you co-sign or accept forever. Nicki moves on. And by the way, I'm not saying that it was absolutely whack. Who knows? Maybe it was just one line. And Nicki has been given fire features recently. But you never know. She might have gotten some bullshit for this.
You're talking about Just Blaze, who did have the
balls.
The balls to speak to Eminem about his verse. And I think Eminem went back and redid the verse and did a better job. He's a little guy, Tory Lanez. He's probably got the Napoleon complex. And he's probably a little antsy. But as you just said, he's good at what he does. Right. I give him credit. And yeah, he probably said something, as he admitted, to Nicki, and I think she said something a little bit more hardcore to him.
Well, fuck you, nigga.
Nigga, I'll come whoop your ass.
Yeah, I don't know that talking about it in an interview helps his case.
Well, I give him credit for the way he spoke about this. He was very diplomatic. It's not like he was, snitching or on some sucker shit. And he said that, possibly in the future. I give him credit for the way he handled this, because sometimes a guy speaking about interaction with the female can put him in a light of being a suspect. I appreciate how he approached this.
Yeah, and I mean, Shooters was fire. Like, Shooters is fire without Nicki, but I would have liked to heard Nicki on it. But he explained it to us. He said...
Remix? Maybe they'll patch it up and we'll get it anyway, right?
Yeah, but he said it. He was like, I shouldn't have said it that way.
I'm cool without it. That song is fire, man. Like, I don't feel nothing miss. Like, actually, sometimes I don't even want to hear this. I also hate when, like, a record comes out fire, and I know this is the reverse, and every nigga who almost got on the record, who had the beat, they all come out.
Right.
Yo, I had that #1. Yo, I had the God's Plan beat. Right. And I was, man, shut the fuck up. You're not on the record. I heard the final version. The final version is lit. I don't want to think about what could been, should been. It's all good.
Right.
I don't want to hear that shit.
All right, let's move on to Khaled. All right, so he has a new single out called Top Off. He was teasing this a few days before it dropped, and now we know why. It's because Future, Jay-Z, and Beyonce are on it. I listened to his radio show over the weekend on Apple Music. He literally played the song on repeat for almost an hour. Yeah, he doesn't play. Let's listen to a snippet.
Only lady else still the realest nigga in the room. I break the internet top 2 and I ain't #2. My body, my ice, my cash. All real, I'm a triple threat. Fuck it up and then leave, come back. Fuck it up and leave again. Top of the coupe and it look like Freak Nick. In the hood hollering Free Meek. Too deep, it's just me and Jay. You're both and in them cold side seats. Woo! I like holla.
Is this an instant hit or what?
I don't think it's an instant hit. I mean, I like the fact that Beyonce was talking some shit on it. I like the Free Meek stuff, but it's not Keys. It's definitely not the Keys.
Is it a hit at all?
Is it a hit? I don't know. I mean, it has the potential to be. It's Khaled. You know what I mean? Like, Khaled is going to push that shit
until it becomes a hit.
But I mean, it wasn't what I expected. I like Jay's verse as well, too. I like the fact that him and Beyonce was popping shit and the whole Free Meek thing they threw into it, but I don't know. I mean, it's not my favorite joint from them.
You guys like the Future hook on this?
I thought, I'm gonna say garbage. I don't like to say trash. It was, the whole thing, just DJ Khaled is annoying to me. I thought that the Future hook, I thought Future could have done better. I agree with you. I like, Beyonce and Jay-Z going back and forth. I guess I'm biased, and I don't like to be biased. Khaled just annoys me. I can't, but I can't count him out. Can't count him out. But I think it's garbage. I'll say garbage.
Yeah, I ain't feeling this straight. You see, I don't like the cut and paste shit, man. It feels like these niggas are on different planets recording. It feels no chemistry.
Right.
It feels like, all right, yo, you fit in this pocket here, just make it hot. It sounded cool, but it's not a hit. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say whack, but it's definitely just not a hit. But of course, you throw money behind it and Khaled constantly just shouting "We the best" and playing 3,000 times. No, for real. It might pop off because that repetitiveness, again, just programming in the minds of people, but this is not a hit, man. I think, is this the second joint with Jay and Beyonce that's been on a Khaled record?
Yeah, it's Shining.
Yeah, Shining.
Yeah.
Last time.
Shining was fire.
That was
Shining
catchier,
fire.
right? The beat was nice
like
on that,
Shining.
yeah.
You ain't like Shining?
When I think of Jay-Z and Beyonce,
Right. Think Crazy
two of
Love.
the best iconic artists, I'm expecting a little bit more than Shining. Like, I'm expecting a fucking mega smash, man. Like, I'm expecting some shit to sit on the Billboard Hot 100 at #1 for like the next 6 weeks. I'm not expecting no top 40 decent record like that.
But beyond that, beyond it sitting here and sitting there, Shining is a record that if you at a wedding or something, it come on, it's a good record. Like, it's something to have fun to. Like, let's take the numbers and shit out of it. Like, we talking about just the music of it. Before that, we had Keys with Future. Keys with Future was like perfect. That shit was the perfect Jay-Z and Future record. Like, this is not to the standard. I thought I was going to hear like Keys, not Keys all over again, but I was like, all right, they did Shining, that was cool.
Yeah, I thought
it was going to be something in that realm. Not to compare them, but I thought it was going to be in that realm, but I don't think it's just meeting that expectation.
Man, I ain't gonna lie,
it's not
man.
a bad record to me.
I think my nigga Future went in the booth and he probably heard that him and Jay beefing. Fuck it, was like, yo, Cal, you gonna set me up? All right, here's a whack verse or a whack hook. Hold that, go promote that
An
shit.
intentional whack
Yeah,
verse.
here's this whack hook right here. I'm mailing this shit in, man. I ain't got time for this. He beefing with Jay.
Beefing with Jay?
Future,
All
what?
right.
That nigga Future was
Since the
rapping about his
444.
son?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yo, but maybe they just make a dope video where Beyonce crushes it and then the song gets another boost. That could happen. It's Beyonce.
The video
Beyonce.
You know what I mean? There's no small budget there.
Future showing up with at least 2 money phones to that fucking video shoot, all right?
They're definitely filming that separate. All right, so the Ray Sherman triple album is on the way. We got 3 new singles a few days ago. So we got Power Glide from both guys. Sway Lee dropped Hurt to Look, that's his solo track, and Slim Jimmy's Brinks Truck. Let's listen to Power Glide.
All in my lap because he hold on wanna roll it. I was sliding in the lamb with the power glide. Slime green paint, peanut butter inside. She wanna fuck, speak up, coming out of clothes. I'm in Wonderland when she coming down the pole. And I don't care if she take all of mine. Like it ain't shit but a dollar sign.
All right, so 2 solo tracks, 1 group record. First impressions?
It sounds good. Power Glide, I like. The bench truck joint, I like too. It gives me more anticipation for the project. I'm still not excited about the album. Hey, no, somebody did tell me that it has 24 tracks, which I'm cool with.
It's long, but yo, we heard
Yeah,
there's
I thought it was like 35, man. I'm cutting anything off after 18 if you got 34. I don't care who's on it.
You listen to the Migos album.
I listened to it on stream. I was dying by the time I got to track 20 because I heard 5 songs that sounded exactly alike, and I was like, oh my God. I couldn't, I was about to pass out.
All right, your first impressions.
Talk about kings, right? I think they're the kings of like spring break music. Like for real. Now, I mean, they just make feel good music. I'm never disappointed whenever I hear any Ray Sherman stuff because they give you what you expect from them all the time. I think Power God is cool. They're setting something up for something bigger.
Okay.
Hey, I do have a little hot take though. They might prove to be the kings in terms of quality of the groups. I love the Migos. Culture 2 was okay, a little bit repetitive, but when it comes to making the best music as a group, these little niggas might be throwing their little like hat in the game to say, yo, we're doing this. And
sounds like you're doing a total backtrack.
No. Wait.
Let him shoot himself in the foot. Hang on.
My point is not done. And
please get to the point.
Please.
They basically would be getting the amount of talk as we do see with the Migos. But I don't know, the internet does something with the Migos where it's like everything they do is like a fucking meme or like there's a joke about it. So they're super more like viral. And I don't know, people just love it more. But they're putting out good music. And what?
Did you make the point?
Yeah.
I did, nigga. First of all,
you be merry-go-round and shit. You merry-go-round. You spin circles.
Can I jump in for a second?
Let me
jump in for a
second. What's that?
They ever call him whack?
That's not the point.
Okay, just you went all around the woods here, or over the woods and through the house to grandmother's house we go, whatever the fuck that saying is. Here's the reality. They do have their finger on the pulse as writers and as a group of the current times. They took some time off. I like what I've heard, and here's what it's gonna come down to. Ad dollars from the label. That's it. I mean, we can sit here and chop it up, and we will, and other people can get on social media. The ad dollars. What will the label commit based upon past sales and impact? They've had a shitload of nominations over the last year or two. I don't know how many awards they won, but they've had a shitload of nominations. So I think that the label does believe. I think the ad dollars will be there, and I think that they're gonna pull out some real, I'll just say, bangers off of this project. How many tracks?
24.
Access 20.
You jumped in like you're about to contradict something I said. You just wouldn't.
Well, I'm gonna contradict something you said.
We're talking about ad dollars. That's what it all comes down to. Again, what we say here and other people on the internet is one thing, but if the ad dollars are behind it, the push, it stands a better chance.
All right, I'm gonna jump in it and say how you contradict yourself. Okay, so back to how we was talking about Kings, right? You saying that they're putting themselves in there to be like Kings or top groups and all that. What does that come from, Act? Criteria, right? Impact on the game, records, resume. Wait a second, let me finish. I'll let you finish. Let me finish. For everything that you said, it's the point I was making earlier. People thought that Ray Sherman was gonna be gone after they had no flex zone, right? They're very young. They're like 22 or 23, something like that, but they've been here for like 4 years now, right? Now, we're saying that they might be in the contention for being the best group, along with the Migos. Now, they don't have the most impact on the court because they're not really known for the theatrics of their dressing or all the memes and all of that shit. But when we talk about music and this microwave era and all of that shit, they're putting up the numbers and they're putting out the music that's transcending and keeping them going. They've been in for 4 already. We're gonna look up and it's gonna be another 4 and they only gonna be 28 years old and still got another maybe 5 or 6 to go.
Man, what is Wayno talking about, man? Listen, it's the same point. It's what have you done for me lately? Okay, Migos just put out a average project. Y'all come with a banger, y'all the Kings. Same thing I was saying in New York. What have you done for me lately? You got 3 hot records, you got a #1 album in the country, you're from New York, you the king. Nigga, we ain't thinking about the last 4 years.
So you nothing they put out matters. Nothing they put out matters.
It's not that many groups, bro.
It's not about if it's that many groups. We're talking about groups overall, right? You saying groups ever. Did you not just say that?
No,
you
right
say
now.
The type groups?
No, right
so
now. I
What?
feel they could like almost leapfrog the Migos because I think people consider the Migos as a front runner group, right? I think they could leapfrog the Migos with a very dope album because the Migos, to me, put out a mediocre album, which I thought could be better. It wasn't trash, but it could be better. And if these little niggas come with another one at this time, I think that's where they've leapfrogged.
But they've been coming with shit. They've been coming with shit.
But the Migos been coming too.
But the Migos, but again,
Culture One is amazing.
Absolutely, I fuck with Culture One. The Without Warning album, like they have their impact.
So that's the thing.
The
so
game.
Migos, when they're not putting out their own projects, they are still working a lot with other people, right? Popping up. Maybe Ray Sherman is not as present as the Migos are in between projects. To your point,
and that's why they're doing solo albums now. What I'm saying is that like this is a point. It's like Usain Bolt. The minute that nigga slips, you want to take over and take the lead. I think the Migos might have, because they're putting out so much content, they put out some mediocre shit. If they put out some dope shit, you run past them.
Are you a Ray Sherman fan?
I'm a fan of all the, I don't talk about niggas I'm not fans of. Like I usually just say next topic.
Okay.
I'm a fan, you're not a fan of anybody.
Fan of anybody.
Yeah.
Well,
I wouldn't be sitting here
that
talking
doesn't
about
mean
people.
I don't do the research. That doesn't mean I don't pay attention. That doesn't mean I don't give someone a fair shake. When I say I'm not someone's fan, that means I try to be more objective as opposed to just biased and subjective. I think, again, I don't know if we're arguing, I don't know what your actual point is because you said something a couple of weeks ago that did cause somewhat of a controversy with their management. I forget whether you said that you just weren't anticipating that many tracks or that you said it was trash. I forget.
No, yeah, I'm not into that many tracks. That's what I said.
Okay, all right. So it sounds like it has the potential to do some big things. And my only point was that it's ad dollars that make the difference, what the label is willing to commit. That's all.
There's some other great joints on this album. I'm excited for you guys to hear all of it.
You heard it,
Last
didn't you?
song, yeah. Not the entire thing, but there's some joints on there.
Nadeska snuck to a listening party, man. She was so excited. She came back, Act, you're wrong!
I didn't speak. Anyway, the listening party came to me. All right, last, we got a new Future and Drake song. I don't think anyone was expecting this, but we got What a Time to Be Alive back in 2015. Let's listen.
Yeah, I got 20 damn candles. Young slim baddies and they in vogue. Yeah, I got 20 fucking GG.
All right, so I remember before What a Time dropped, there was a lot of hype, a lot of anticipation. I don't feel like Drake and Future fans felt like it was a project they were hoping for. So are you guys excited if they have more music on the way?
I'm excited to see them do something again. When it comes to this track in particular, man, Future's cold, yo. Like, what he said about the Kylie line and all of that. And then he said, I got a bunch of Kendalls.
20 Kylies.
Like, yeah. I mean, I'm excited to see them do something again. It wasn't like What a Time to Be Alive didn't live up to my expectations or what I thought that they were gonna do, but overall it wasn't a bad album.
Okay.
I hope they never get in the studio again for another full project. Feature on each other's album, great. Get in the studio, make an album in a week in Atlanta. For a money grab, never again, please. I felt like it kind of hurt how I saw the project that they put out afterwards. I think that's why people looked at Views was like, bruh, it's not like you coming off some flaming hot shit when you gave us Views. Like, you just came off What a Time to Be Alive. That's so mediocre. So I like them in spurts when they collab with each other. Not a whole project. No more of that.
I've got a very obscure opinion here. I'm tired of hip hop bigging up Kylie and Kendall, Kylie and Kendall Jenner. I'm tired of it. I don't want to put race on the table, but it just sounds like, you know, everybody's just got these two chicks' names in their mouths, and I guess that's the reason why I like SZA so much. It's a different mindset, and I see this as, wow, somebody else riding Kylie and Kendall Jenner's tips. Does that make sense, or am I just going somewhere totally different?
I think it's an interesting perspective.
I mean, I just see it as a name drop. You know what I mean? It's like just a name check, like, in pop culture that people would recognize.
Relevant.
Again, if it's a different context, it might be
so
a Black China
though.
check.
Maybe it's just me.
But to your point, talking about what they came off of after that, like, I think Views got better with time. I mean, the initial.
I love Views.
Yeah, I mean, the initial hearing. I mean, you just said that people didn't receive it like the way they was receiving it because of What a Time to Be Alive. But I think, like, when people first heard Views, they didn't appreciate it until after. They give it another couple more listens. You know what I'm saying? If they do put out another project, it just makes good for another tour. The Summer 16 tour was dope. You know what I mean? Regardless to the project, the tour was really fire. I went to the show in Madison Square Garden. But I wouldn't say I wouldn't want them to do nothing ever again. I just think that they have to go over it with a fine-tooth comb this time.
All right, but right now, is anyone looking for a Drake and Future project to drop soon? I think we want the Drake solo album first, right?
Yeah. Drake's on a nice run right now. I don't think he needs no collabs for this year. He started off good, God's Plan, Look Alive. He had the verse on the Migos during the Walk It Talk It. He's straight right now. People are fully tuned in. He's breaking all types of records. Like, don't fuck up and just hop on some shit for a money grab. Do that like a year from now.
But we haven't even heard the song. It's just 15 seconds. We don't know if it's a money grab. We don't know if it's a feature off of Drake's album. We might not even ever hear this song for real.
That's what I'm saying. So if we're only speaking about the snippet, sounds dope. Snippet sounds dope. Yeah. If this is because you had went down the realm of saying we started seeing some things before the collaborative project.
Right.
If this is a collaborative project, throw this whole thing in rice. You feel me? But if this is a just one-off or it's a swap, I love it.
Feel you on that.
All right, we'll see. A lot of new music coming. All right, that's our show for today, guys.
By the way,
last thoughts?
I just want to say there was a lot of great music that dropped this weekend. It was, me as a music lover and listener, it took a long while for me to digest everything. Smoke Perp dropped some heat. That 1, 2, 3 record, one of my favorite records this year. X dropped some heat. Who else? Black Youngster dropped some heat.
Yeah, 2, 2, 3, right?
Of course, Black Youngster. We know Tekashi put out some shit. There was a lot of music out there. So make sure you guys go listen to it.
I'm still digging in on this Nipsey album.
Word.
That shit is hard. I'm still digging in on that Nipsey album. And I like that Smoke Perk record.
Yeah.
We could talk about more of it tomorrow, right? We could play some more snippets. All right, so we'll see you guys tomorrow, 11 a.m. on Complex News.